One.
On today's episode of This Week in Music, I have a musical guest. We're going to be doing some reviews and we're going to check out the latest in music news. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here tonight, here live in LA or live wherever you are in the world or in this beautiful country for This Week in Music, episodes 8 I think it is. We're still on a roll and we've got a great show for you today. And you know what, I've been hearing so much feedback from you guys out there and I love it because it's great to hear from the viewers, you know, hear suggestions and stuff like that. So, and if you out there haven't done that yet, please get onto it and this is how you do it. You can hit us up on Twitter. The show's Twitter handle is at TWI Music. Well, actually, it's TWIMUSC without the I. You can write to me on Twitter at This Is Asha. You can also email us, which is music at thisweekin.com. Sorry, Gmail is my own account. I won't be telling you that. Music at thisweekin.com. And look, if you own a company out there and if you love this show so much, you want to sponsor it, hit us up as well, sponsors at thisweekin.com. It is my mission in life to get as many sponsors as Jason Calcanis on This Week in Startups. I'm going to earn as much money as him. There, I've put it out to the universe. Now, let's make it happen. We've got a great show for you today. Like I said just before the opener, I have a musical guest that I want to introduce to you. We've got some reviews, some trivia. We're going to be doing the chart countdown, the ultimate chart countdown. But first up, let's start off with some music news. And once again, I'm joined by the studio sound engineer, Will Thompson. Now, Generic Mammal in the chat room just said that he is wearing a shirt today.
Oh, yes, yes. I normally don't wear a shirt to work, but today,
Today,
yes.
Just for decency's sake, he did.
Yes.
All right, so what's happening in the music news world?
All right, well, first up, Pink Floyd music. If you're looking for it online, you might as well stop because it has just been pulled from all online retail, including iTunes. Several popular albums by the rock band Pink Floyd have been pulled from online stores after a contract dispute. Albums no longer available from internet retailers include Wish You Were Here, The Wall, and The Final Cut.
Oh.
The albums were withdrawn from the online market because of an expired distribution contract between the band and music company EMI. So basically, contract ends.
Dad. I'm sorry, Dad. There goes your...
Lawyers need to go lawyering, and I'm sure that they will get the distribution worked out and be back online shortly.
You know, it's kind of weird because, like, if you aren't selling online, you know, that's... Where are you selling, really? And Pink Floyd, I'm sure it'll come back, like you said.
I'm sure they're hurting for money, and they're in a huge hurry
That's true.
to get back
Roger
online.
Waters, I'm sure you are fine, but it'll be up online again soon sometime.
Absolutely. Moving right along, the owners of Elvis Presley's likeness and image are considering offers to sell their licensing rights as the annual Elvis Presley Week got underway in Memphis.
That was this week.
CKX Incorporated, the current owner of Elvis Presley Enterprises, is considering two high-profile propositions to sell its majority stake in Presley's name, likeness, and operations of the Graceland theme park to media moguls. According to the AP, the company's former CEO, Robert Sillerman, and American Idol creator Simon Fuller are both vying for the rights to Presley's legacy.
Right.
What is it here? Go ahead.
You know, Simon Fuller, it's like he's just the ultimate media entrepreneur. You know, he created Idol. He created If You Can Dream, I think it is, and he just wants to own everything. And it just kind of makes me think, for someone to own the likeness of Elvis, is that going to change the way that people, you know, become Elvis impersonators? I don't know. Like, it's the likeness, so it's its image, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking a risk, right? They're going to fork over a ton of money for about 200 licensing, various licensing avenues in Elvis's likeness, and they are betting that they're going to make way more money in the future than not. I guess it's a gamble, like any investment. Yeah,
well, it was just really interesting because the CKX Inc. CEO, Michael G. Farrell, said, you know, there's a lot of visibility lately in Elvis, so, you know, it's going to be a big sell. But what do you mean lately? Like, he's always been a big seller, and I think that, you know, if the Beatles were available, the Beatles' rights were available, maybe Simon Fuller would buy that, but it's not because Michael Jackson, you know, bought all the rights to the Beatles songs.
Simon Fuller has a bunch of money and wants to dump it into another music.
Over here, Simon. Sponsor this show. All right, let's keep moving on then.
Moving right along. Last week, more legal stuff in the music world. Last week, a lawsuit filed in federal court contended that Warner Brothers record website, among other well-known media properties, including Disney and their music site Playlist.com, have been secretly tracking online users as well as children by installing flash cookies on their computers, which quickly respawn after the deletion.
I think this is really crazy. If I was a parent and I read this, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Because, and shame on Disney, because I used to work for Disney and, you know, I always prided myself that they're a good company and they do things by the book, but that's kind of shady, I think.
Well, privacy's so huge now.
Yeah.
Facebook's getting a rap for it. Every major, you know, large social network is, and you know, privacy on a network where you kind of opt in is one thing. When someone sends a cookie or some sort of file to your computer to monitor you, that's a way more, you know, serious.
And, you know, a lot of parents may not be tech savvy and kids may not be either. Well, most kids are, but, you know, they may not even know this is happening. So what else are they getting access to on these computers?
Right.
And, you know, the lawsuit filed by the attorneys represented groups of minors and their parents that alleges ClearSpring Technologies, the creator of the widgets that distributed targeting advertising to a number of sites. So that's another hot issue as well, has facilitated unlawful spying. It's like,
if they're selling information that they don't, if you don't know that they're gathering,
that's what. Yeah.
More legal suits.
This isn't the CIA, people. You know, it's someone's private computer. So stay away. Shame on Disney and, you know, Warner Brothers. But anyway, I'm sure that'll be worked out.
Yes.
What else is going on?
Well, we had a story that Rolling Stone had issued a caustic and highly sarcastic letter to label execs for fighting illegal downloads. Later to find out that it was from 2002?
Hypebot.com had put up this letter this week, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I've got to talk about this. Maybe I should just read the letter, because it was like really cool, and you know, people may not have read it in 2002, but this is from Rolling Stone to label execs. A big fat thanks to record execs. Thank you for fighting the good fight against internet MP3 file swapping. Because of you, millions of kids will stop wasting time listening to new music and seeking out new bands. No more spreading the word to complete strangers about your artists. No more harmful exposure to thousands of bands via internet radio either. With any luck, they won't talk about music at all. You probably knew you'd make millions by embracing the technology. After all, kids swapping were like 10 times more likely to buy CDs, making your cause all the more admirable, and quote unquote. It must have cost a bundle in future revenue, but don't worry, computers are just a fad anyway, and the internet is just plain stupid.
Pot beat kettle.
Yeah, it is like that.
Like Rolling Stone is really good at breaking new artists. If I read about Bob Dylan one more time in Rolling Stone,
or Bruce Springsteen, or U2.
I don't want to harp on them because it's old, but it's still kind of funny and it's
relevant now.
It is. It's still relevant because it's sad that in 2002 this came out in Rolling Stone. Back when the magazine was large, now it's tiny and the size of a pamphlet.
Right.
But we're still talking about the same issues. Like we haven't in 8 years we haven't come like that far.
It's right.
So.
And the internet is still a fad, so there you go.
Which just segues right into our next story.
Yes, it does.
This is pretty hot in the music world right now. U2's manager Paul McGuinness has lashed out at industry bloggers and writers for their hurtful comments regarding basically online music distribution and how artists make money right now selling recorded material.
He basically just doesn't like, you know, music bloggers, people who have an opinion about music that he doesn't agree with, you know, calling them anonymous gremlins, which is, you know, ouch, a little bit harsh.
Yeah, and he basically in his piece in GQ, how to save the music industry.
Right.
And he references a bunch of really good ways that, you know, that people are talking about music subscription models, bundling, you know, music into your ISP bill, much like people are used to paying for cable.
Right,
you pay for
which
music.
makes sense. You know,
it
that's
totally
a fair
makes
deal.
sense. And they're saying, you know, well, is it a tax at that point? You know, how do you classify it? And he unnecessarily, though, he takes pot shots at all these music bloggers who are now sharing more music and you know, doesn't really rightfully give them credit where credit is due, but actually attacks them. So he's getting a bunch of backlash for that. But it did spawn a lot of conversation within, you know, the community.
The music world,
Absolutely. And actually, Bob Lefsetz recently emailed Seth Godin, the very popular marketer, regarding this and wanted
Yeah.
his take on it. And Seth actually has a really good insight here.
Let's read it.
Moving forward, it says, you mean going forward? I think it's too late to get the scale of buy-in you need as a standalone site. I think if you offered it as a checkbox, it meaning music service or music subscription,
Right.
item either at search engines or ISPs, your cost of sale goes up, but so does your adoption. It's a mess. I don't know how to fix it. If I did, I would tell you. The problem, as you can see, is that you need commitment and consistency on the sell side, but
Right.
instead there's confusion and dissent between the record labels.
Right.
Great analogy here. Imagine AOL growing in 1992 if it was run by 200 guys with big egos on 3 continents. It's perfect. That's what is facing
Yeah.
the monetization of music right now online. Is
It
no
is
one
confusing.
can no one can agree on terms, and
Yeah.
there's a million models out there, and it's still we're waiting until the dust settles.
Yeah, every major label has their own idea of what they want to charge people, what tier pricings work, but they can't all agree. And then you've got these industry people, like Paul McGuinness, who's a manager, and companies like AOL, Yahoo, and Apple, and they've got their own ideas. And it's like, I don't think it's going to be one model that works. It's just, it's hard.
Yeah, no one really knows, but I think they have to start saying yes.
Yeah.
'Cause right now they're saying no, and that's not working.
It's the old guard, as Bob Lefsetz call them, saying no, they're too scared. And, Paul McGuinness does have a point about the bloggers, because you can go on a lot of music blogs and you can stream music for free all day. I mean, obviously they say who the artist is, but it's free to do that, and you can just listen to music like that. So, I can see how he, protecting the interest of, say, an artist like U2, who he manages, he's probably like, there should be some sort of credit where credit's due, like you said.
Absolutely. Speaking of streaming music on blogs,
yes.
Shuffler. I tried this out today. This is awesome.
Okay,
As
yeah,
a music
so tell
discovery site. It's pretty much Shuffler.fm is essentially stumble upon mashed with, I guess, music instead. It's all
Right.
music discovery, but
Okay.
it's stumbling through music blogs. So you choose your genre,
Yeah.
and then it will immediately send you on to a blog, and give you a song.
This is it right
Yeah,
here.
right here this is it. So
There you go. It's like Pandora or MTV for music.
exactly,
blogs.
Pandora, stumbling through Pandora,
Right.
and it's fantastic. I actually was doing it today. I was discovering a lot of music that I was like, hey, this is great.
Awesome.
It integrates. You can like it for Facebook. You can tweet it. You can do all the social features.
There's a lot of social
You
networking
can save it,
interaction.
and you get 20. You can listen to 20 songs of any genre
For free?
For free
Okay.
until you have to pay. It's a $9 one-time fee, and after that you're not.
Oh, just a
limited.
one-time fee?
One-time fee for right
That's
now.
awesome. That's pretty worth it.
And what's really cool is people are saying, well, how do these music bloggers are they going to get credit? Well, what's really cool about it is when it selects a song, the blog that hosts that song is right there. You can read it, and it's a really, really nice curation feature for finding new music, because it's not
Nice.
just random, like saying
Yeah.
in an algorithm on Pandora. It's people who spent some time saying, this is a great track. If you're into this, check
Right.
it out. And out of the 10 tracks I listened to, 8 I really loved.
Oh, well, there you go. So shuffler.fm, you said?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, check that out, because I think that's like a solid model that works, obviously. They're giving credit where credit's due, and it's like a minimal fee. So that's pretty cool.
And it's hard, and there's so many music blogs, and it's hard to
Yeah.
find. Like, it's hard to keep up and visit. I don't want to visit 15 music blogs.
Right. There's
I
only
wanna-
so many bookmark slots in my bookmark section on my computer. So
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. So check that out. Coming up next to music news.
Coming up next in music news, moving right along, more ways to try to monetize music and trying to
Right.
figure out ways to market themselves. Bands often give away music for free these days,
Yeah.
but new British band, the reclusive Barclay Brothers, are taking things one step further by paying people to listen to them.
That's really dope. I love that.
Yeah, I wish I heard about it earlier.
Yeah.
The electro duo are giving £27 to 100 people who listen to their new single.
Which is about $35 US, I think.
Yep. We Could Be Lonely Together is a track. Band member Pauline Johnson admitted the idea was either very idiotic or very clever. She added, the only conclusion from the free music debate is to pay the public to listen to acts. The band formed in 2009, but having recorded their songs, they were faced with the problem all new acts face, how to get noticed by music buying public.
That's true, and it's like, they're thinking outside the square. They're a new band. It's so much harder for them to get noticed. So I don't know how many bands are like paying people to listen to their music. And the song's actually really good. The video clip's cool, and interspersed in the video clip, they tell people to go to newloafermusic.com. Here's the website, newloafermusic.com, and it shows how you can sign up to their emailing list so that they can send you money. I don't know how they do it. They email you money. I don't know, but you know. I personally wouldn't do it because I get a bit iffy about stuff like that, and you just don't know what could happen. But, you know, if you're up for getting 27 pounds, aka $35 US, try it out, you know.
Absolutely.
I guess the way that they figured out, you know, they'd taken out a loan and they, you know, tallied everything up for the video, building the website, publicity and all that stuff, and they were only a certain amount out of pocket, and they figured, all right, well, let's give whatever's left over, let's start giving it away, and I think they'll make it back eventually. I don't know.
They hope so, and
yeah, they hope so.
It's risky, you know. All these stories we have about, you know, it's always just people trying new things.
Yeah.
You know, and I think when these kind of stories first came out, everyone's going, "Is this the new model?"
Yeah.
And now we've kind of wised them, going, "Well, good luck to them because there's no one right way."
Yeah. So good on them, but check them out, the Reclusive Barclay Brothers, great new band out of England. If you like British bands. All right, so let's keep moving on.
Well, this one, I guess, kind of crosses over to the pop culture realm a little bit. We actually covered this on This Week in YouTube earlier this week.
Oh, you did? And I can't believe we're actually mentioning Tila Tequila on This Week in Music, but here we go.
Yeah, Tila Tequila gets attacked by an angry mob of juggalos because she was put on the bill at the annual Juggalo Gathering concert in Illinois, which also featured Insane Clown Posse and the Cottonmouth Kings. When the hardcore crowd saw her up on stage, they literally started throwing rocks, beer cans, and even, some reports say, human feces on stage at her.
Look, okay, I understand that a lot of people aren't a fan of Tila Tequila, but human feces is pretty gross. And for those of you who don't know what juggalos are, they're basically fans of ICP, and what happened was the term juggalos came from Joseph Violent J. Bruce during an ICP performance of their song The Juggler, and he referred to fans as the juggalos. So now they've become this like community of, you know, wearing the clown masks and all that kind of stuff. But apparently, like, they denounce violence and they, you know, they call themselves family, but that's blatantly violent.
Sociologists need to study them. I don't know. They're like a interesting new weird gang.
They really are.
I don't know what they are.
Well,
but
in some states in America, they are considered a dangerous gang by, you know, the police and stuff. So.
Juggalos, how do they work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just gotta think of this something like that. So, but it wasn't just Tila Tequila, it was Method Man as well.
Method Man got hit in the head with something, and he took it, I think, a little better, but, you know, he kept performing.
Right, he did. He was performing with Redman, and they, you know, throwing beer cans, and he had blood pouring down his face, but I guess, you know, maybe he's a bigger guy and he can take it a little bit better. He actually continued his set saying, quote, "Start the music, we're continuing the show, let's F these mother effers up." So there you go. But the question that I was thinking reading this, like, why was Tila invited to perform? Like, okay, Method Man, Redman, yeah, I can see that, you know, they're artists at least, but why the hell was Tila Tequila there?
I don't know. I have no. I think sometimes there's a little bit of ignorance at that level, in that you know, sometimes, you know, managers need to get, you know, this day and age, managers have so much weight on their shoulders and so much pressure on them because they're acting way more, have more responsibilities in the label in most cases.
Right, definitely.
And they got to get it. You know, Tila's probably. Get me on something. I want to be a star so badly, you know.
Right. So why wouldn't her manager have some more like thought? Go, look, Tequila. Look, Tila, just drink some tequila. Miss Tequila. You know, maybe the annual Juggalos gathering isn't the right thing. Maybe like the real world or something might be better.
Or not any stage at all. Tila, cut it here. Message to Tila Tequila.
Yeah, go work.
Stop performing.
Get a day job. Become a nanny. No, don't do that. So finally, in music news.
Finally, some sad news.
Yes.
The music world is mourning the loss of jazz legend Abby Lincoln, who died this week in her New York home at the age of 80. She found fame as a Sex Kittens supper club singer, but soon became one of the most outspoken civil rights proponents among entertainers. She starred in many films in the 1960s and made a successful public comeback in the 1990s. Rest in peace, Abby.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's nice to end on something a little bit more music related. But that's great.
Beautiful voice.
Yeah, she actually did. And if you don't know who Abby Lincoln is, please go on YouTube, and there's plenty of videos. Sex Kitten era and civil rights era. So yeah, definitely check it out. She was married to drummer Max Roach, I believe, and he was like one of the main influences.
She was married to Max Roach?
Yeah. There you go.
Learn something new.
I think he was one of the main reasons when they got together that she started becoming interested in civil rights and, you know, changing her image. So
excellent. Very interesting, very sad.
There you go. Marry someone who has some political agendas, Will.
Okay.
Thank you so much
I'm off to do that.
Yes. He's off to marry someone. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much for reading the music news again. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Glad to be subbing in and temping in.
Yes, I like it. We'll catch you on another show sometime soon.
Okay.
But now it's time for a bit of a website highlight. And off he goes. All right, so I'm only going to do one website highlight today because I've got a special guest with me and I don't want to take up too much time, just me talking. So the website today is artistdata.com. Now, if you're an artist out there, you may have stumbled upon this, but I just recently found this out. It's been around since 2006, and if you're an indie artist and social networking marketing is a huge part of your game, this is the site for you because basically it consolidates it all and it makes it a one-stop shop for you to, do your own marketing, and that's a big part of being an artist these days, getting yourself out there. So you can put your music news, your profile, your music, all that announcements when you're playing gigs, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to go to MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, all those kind of things. It gives you, basically their whole mantra is it gives you time to focus on the music, which is what you should be doing as an artist. Now there are various levels of pricing for different profiles. There is a basic profile for free. So if you're an artist and you don't want to pay money straight off, check out the free profile and maybe you want to step it up. But they're doing a really cool initiative right now until September 1st. All the profiles are free. So that's a great way to get people interested. They support Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, as well as websites like Bandloop, Mobile Roadie, Bandzoogle, Jambase, etc., etc. And they're always adding new websites to this consolidation. So check it out, artistdata.com. And now I believe we have a little graphic for the Ultimate Chart Countdown. How awesome was that? Love you guys in the studio, you rock. So each week I'm going to be doing a chart countdown from theultimatechart.com, which is not Billboard. It's basically a chart started by Big Champagne, Eric Garland, that's his name. Big Champagne and Eric Garland, who wanted to create a chart that was like not just Billboard, not just like money sales and what radio is listening to, but what people are listening to online and just user data like that. So let's start at number 10. Number 10 on the Ultimate Chart this week, Jason Derulo, Riding Solo. Played on the radio a lot. Number 9, B.O.B. Airplanes, featuring Hayley Williams from Paramore. Very popular song too. I'm a little bit sick of it because it's overplayed, but it's a catchy song. Number 8, the first of 2 Eminem tracks in this week's top 10. Eminem, Not Afraid. He has the Midas touch, I have to say. Number 7, Usher, DJ Got Us Falling in Love, featuring Pitbull. Pitbull features on every second person's tracks these days. Number 6, Katy Perry, Teenage Dream. I kind of have a little soft spot for that song. I have to say I like it. Hopefully the radio doesn't overplay it. Number 5, Taylor Swift enters the Ultimate Chart Countdown with Mine. Number 4, Katy Perry again, California Girls. California. I'm not going to sing. Number 3, Enrique Iglesias, I Like It. Sampling Lionel Richie and also featuring Pitbull. Does that guy ever go away? Number 2, Tayo Cruz, Dynamite. And most people don't know he's actually from England. And number 1, Eminem featuring Rihanna, Love the Way You Lie. And if you've seen the video clip, features Megan Fox and Dominic Monaghan from Lost. So, and I also should mention that the VMAs coming up September 12th are going to be hosted by Chelsea Handler, very funny lady, and she actually wants a reunion between Kanye West and Taylor Swift, and let's see what goes down. So there you go. All right, moving on with the show. It's time for me to introduce to you my guest. He's only been in the music industry a couple of years, but he's already making waves. He's a huge deal. I think he is. He's LA born and bred. He's lived in New York and now he's back here. He's doing some cool things. And I've mentioned his little business enterprise before on the show a few weeks ago, but I'll introduce you to the man behind the website, Jordan Passman, the creator of score.com.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here finally. And, we did mention the show on our website highlight a few weeks ago, and it's just a great idea. So let's talk about the website first off. What is it and how does it work?
Okay, so score.com is a website platform connecting professional music composers with media producers. Basically, anybody that needs original music for any type of media project at any level of budget.
So, and it's free to join, right?
Free to join, free to post, free to review, custom scores tailored to your description. And the way that it works is you literally write a description if you're a filmmaker.
Okay.
You say the price that you want to pay for it, the music, and then you can upload a video clip up to 3 minutes if you like.
Right.
And I have a pool of 70 hand-filtered professional music composers.
That's awesome.
Including Grammy and Emmy winners. They're really talented.
Yeah.
That will actually write original scores tailored to your description at absolutely no cost or obligation to you.
That's great. So how long has this website been around? Not that long, right?
We're creeping up on 3 months.
So it's brand new then?
It's my brand new baby.
Okay, so how did you come up with the idea for the website?
You know, I recognize a void in the industry where there's the people that would call the major agents and say, hey, I need Hans Zimmer. And then that's done. That's a done deal. But then there's other people that had no budget and they were looking around and they would end up scrounging the internet for music libraries, even result to going to Craigslist and posting an ad.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of reach into this entire, middle and basically offer a service that lets them connect with each other on a website.
That's great. And there's a lot of talented artists out there that don't know how to get an agent, don't know how to connect with like the big names in music. So you've kind of like tapped into that market, and I think it'll be really great. I mean, you obviously have like a huge pool of talent and industry people. So tell me, how do you find these industry people? Like you were saying to me before, it's all about networking and who you know. So tell me about some of the people and companies that you have involved with the website.
I mean, if you're a friend or family member watching this, you know that I've asked you, who do you know that can, tell me about media producers and tell me who is, from video game makers. Score.com can service literally if you have a trailer, if you have a commercial, if you have a film, if you have a television show,
or
if you need a preview, or you need a sizzle reel, or whatever you need, if you need original music, we can help you out.
Okay.
So I'm basically there just asking everybody, who do you know that you think would find this resourceful? And once they find out about it, they're just thrilled. I mean, hey, you can post this, it's free. You get custom scores to review at no obligation. And there you are. And then if you like it, it's like a classified ad where you only pay if you find exactly what you want.
Right. Now, it's free to join, but then there's a percentage that, if someone does a project and you successfully pair people together, how does it work with percentages like of what you take? Because you have to earn money too.
I have to earn money too, but it actually, the way that it works is, like I said, you say the price that you want to pay for it.
Okay.
So from that price, I take my percentage.
Okay. And you were saying, I mean, is it okay to say the percentage?
Yeah, absolutely.
20%.
It's the smallest compared to the competition. It really is.
Look, for people who haven't, been familiar with agents and how the industry works, 20% is pretty standard. And in fact, it's really good because the more people you have involved in your career, publicists, managers, agents, they each want to take their own 20%. So sometimes you're left with like only 20%. So that's a pretty good deal, I have to say.
Oh, my composers are so thrilled to be a part of this. Absolutely. They get emails saying, here's a project that needs original scoring. Now they don't have to cruise Craigslist anymore. They don't have to deal with all that clutter. It's just it's directly to them. They get to submit music directly to media producers, me, which is really the best thing. Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to be like fumbling around, and that way you kind of like you have an instant start in your career, basically, being put together with these industry professionals. So let's talk a bit about your background, because you're only young. Like, I want to say you're only 23, but dude, you're doing some crazy, amazing things. What did you study in college? I studied sociology, which was absolutely just intellectual stimulation. I can't say that has anything to do with my career today. Right. But it was definitely a great lens on the world, and I'm happy I did. Awesome. So I studied that, and I ended up throughout college, because I was so interested in entertainment, and I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. I had internships at various entertainment places, from music to film to so that kind of sparked your interest then in these kind of mediums, music. Absolutely. Okay, so now you worked at in the film and TV membership department of ASCAP. Now, for those of you who don't know what ASCAP is, explain what it is in a nutshell, what they do in a nutshell. ASCAP is a performing rights society. Okay. So it's not a union, but the best way to describe it is that every time a songwriter has their song played on the anywhere, at radio, TV. Public performance of any kind, they're getting paid for that.
Right.
Who's paying them for that? ASCAP.
Right. So they're kind of like the regulatory body and, you know, monitoring everything that goes on.
Absolutely. Songwriters love ASCAP because they're getting checks from them.
Right. Well, you know, I think there has to be. I think ASCAP do a great job. I mean, if ASCAP wasn't around, you know, I can't imagine what it was like before ASCAP. How did artists get paid? How did they keep track of all this stuff, you know?
They're really brilliant, and they're great people.
Okay, so tell me what you did in the film, TV membership department. What did you do day to day?
Working with songwriters and people that are specifically writing music for film and television, which was my favorite thing because, you know, someone once told me if Mozart was born today, he would be a film composer.
Really?
So in my opinion, I'm working with Mozart.
There you go.
Hey, I'm thrilled. So at ASCAP, we did so many things for our songwriters. Besides the fact that, hey, I don't think I got paid this right amount, then we would look into that for them.
Okay.
Otherwise, we were doing workshops. We were, you know, just setting up programs all year to help songwriters and our members.
That's awesome. So what kind of things did you learn about the music industry when you were there, you know, out of college, doing all these internships, and now you're like working legit in the music industry? What kind of things did you learn that you took away? I
just learned that these are the songwriters that I want to work with. It completely validated
so tell me,
for me.
Who are some of the songwriters?
I mean,
drop some names.
Who did I get to meet through there? I got to meet my favorite film composer, Michael Giacchino.
Oh, really?
Who did, you know, Up and Lost.
Oh, amazing.
And he's just such a humble, amazing man.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's opportunities
good to know
like that.
that he's humble.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody is that famous and that successful.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like film composers, because they don't have the same kind of egos as the rest of, you know, musicians or actors.
Tila Tequila.
They
don't have that notoriety. You know, people know their music, but they may not know their face or their name, you know, or maybe their name, but not their face. So.
They definitely don't know their face.
Right. So who are your kind of inspirations then?
Well, in terms of entrepreneurs, I mean, there's tons out there. Simon Fuller is definitely one of them.
Oh, there you go.
Putting together the Spice Girls, it's pretty cool. That definitely influenced my childhood, I gotta say.
Oh, really? The Spice Girls or Simon Fuller? I just wanna...
Both.
Well, you know, like Spice Girls are one of the most successful pop bands on the planet before Pussycat Dolls came along. But yeah, Simon Fuller, he's like...
I think they branded lollipops. I think that's what happened with Spice Girls. They had
really?
everything. Oh yeah, they had like Chupa Chupas.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
those?
and they had deodorant. They had like Pepsi gig. That they, you know, he. But the Spice Girls didn't like him though. After a while, they kind of parted ways with him because he was a bit of a hard taskmaster.
Sure.
But look where it got them. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto the topic of the Spice Girls, and now all the people in the chat room are like, "I hate you, Ash." Okay, so let's talk about the website now. When you go to create a website, where do you start first?
I think the most important thing is to find out, is this something, if you have an idea for a website, is this really unique? Has it been done before? If it's been done before, are you doing it better?
Right.
And I think the first way to go about it is to go around to potential customers and present them an idea. You might have to have them sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so that they don't steal your idea.
Exactly.
But make sure that this is a real business, you know. And that's what I did, is I made sure that there is a market for this. And when people were really excited about it, like I said, there is that void for the whole middle ground. So score.com is filling that void.
Right. So how, you know, you said the website launched 3 months ago. How much research, how long did you do research for before launching the website? Was it years or months?
No, it was about a year from inception that I had the idea, and I did, you know, it takes a long time to build a website, which I didn't really realize. I guess it depends on who your developers are, but it does take a long time with a complicated website like Score.
Right.
It took a long time. It required a lot of patience, and throughout that time, though, I got to flush out the idea, bounce the idea off of industry figures that I respected. And
so who are these people that you did research with, you know, like bouncing off your ideas and research? Which kind of people did you go to?
My most important mentor is my father, who's actually a music attorney.
Oh, okay.
And he did write a book actually called All You Need to Know About the Music Business.
Oh, really? What's his name?
Don Passman.
Don Passman. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. It's a great resource for anybody that's looking to understand, you know, whole grasp on the music industry.
He would have given you great advice. You know?
Absolutely. I wasn't, you know, talking about compulsory licenses over dinner when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we were able, you know, I had this amazing walking encyclopedia to just ask any question. And as soon as he validated the idea, I knew I was in the right direction.
So yeah, that's the thing. You know, when you have an idea and you obviously, you know, see this gap in the market, how do you know when it's like, okay, there is a legitimate gap, I'm going to go out and get it? How do you take that leap of faith almost?
You take that leap of faith by being ignorant enough to just think it's going to work, and you just go for it. I think you can't be afraid or intimidated by anybody or anything. when you're being an entrepreneur and starting a company. You just have to believe in it so much that you can convince other people.
Yeah. Let's show another screen grab of the website as well, just so people get really familiar with it. Now, so if people want to join, when they join the website, it's free to join. Is there any exclusivity? Like, do they have to just be part of that website? Can they join other, networking websites like that where they connect with industry inside? What kind of exclusivity or privacy issues are there with people who join?
Are you talking about from the filmmaker side or from the music side?
For the filmmaker. Oh, no, from the musician side.
As a musician, it's completely non-exclusive.
Okay.
So my composers are extremely happy about that because they're welcome to shop their music elsewhere, though no one will obviously do as well as we do.
Right.
But at the same time, they can do whatever they want. It's entirely just another resource and avenue for them to find scoring opportunities.
Okay. Now, from the industry, like the filmmaker's point of view, when they advertise on your website, do they advertise, through other agencies as well, or is it just with you? Have they made that agreement specifically with you?
It's not an exclusive agreement with them either, and my pitch to them is that we will provide you custom music scores tailored to what you're looking for, which no other website has offered.
Right.
And at the price you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And what happens is I just assume that my music will speak for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it will.
Yeah. I think it's great that you have like this talented pool of people, and it's only going to grow, word of mouth, and the internet is so huge that music is just spreading like wildfire. So.
Oh, my composers have worked with every major studio, every major network.
Really?
So many brands, like just looking out, like I'm driving down the street, I'm like, yep, they've scored something to that, to
so
that,
tell me
to
about
that.
some of the scores that you've scored or that you see, when you're listening to, or you're watching TV and movies. What are some of the examples that we can...
Scores that score.com have actually done? Well, actually, there's a really cool project that the most recent one was this charity project that a photographer did, where they put together this montage for kids that were being reunited with their parents after going through chemotherapy.
Oh,
and so they needed a really touching score. They said, hey, we're looking for strings and piano. You can say as much as you want, mood or genre.
Yeah.
They said, we only have, I think it was $1,000, and this is what we can offer. And basically they didn't upload a video, sorry.
Okay.
Because you don't have to.
Right.
But they ended up getting multiple submissions, and they liked a lot of them, and they ended up choosing one, and now they have a moving video to show people about how this Cancer Research Foundation works.
That's great. So is that a website or is it on TV?
I don't think it's up yet, but as soon as it does, I'll send it to you and you can blast
please
it out.
do. Yeah, I'll Twitter about it. So tell me, who are some of your music influences growing up? Who do you listen to now, and who inspired you?
Well, my absolute favorite band, which I feel like is even cliche in LA, is Radiohead.
Right.
But I really do think they're the best.
But look, they are. There's a reason why so many people like them. Tom York, it's like hats off to you.
Exactly, and I think my favorite album of all time has got to be Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
My
which
dad
also
would get
is
along.
cliche, I feel like, but it is the best. Come
It's
on.
like revolutionary, all these sounds and like themed. It's almost like this mythical piece of music, and it's like, where did this come from?
Exactly.
Actually, one of my favorite songs of all time is On That Time, which is a great album. So thanks to my dad for introducing that. Okay, so where do you see score.com? Like, is this the only website that you're going to do? Where do you see it going in, say, 5-10 years?
Well, I guess my initial plan for this was to have a back road into becoming a film composer agent.
Oh, really?
So this has been unbelievable in meeting the right players and meeting the right composers and the people in the media industry.
Yeah.
So I do think whether it's the first online agency or it's something where it just grows into meeting the right people that I want to end up representing. Say it's my favorite 10 of the group, although I love you all 70 of you.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Yeah.
so I think it just can grow into a career of being involved in the film music industry.
Right, and is there such a thing as like a film music agency out there? Or
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, there is, okay.
Yeah.
So how, to get into something like that for an artist, is that really hard?
It's the exact same, I would say, as the SAG, Screen Actors Guild for actors.
Okay.
You can't get into a movie unless you're in the Screen Actors Guild.
Right, but you can't get into that without being in a film. It's like Catch-22.
Totally.
So I think, you've definitely done something where you've kind of opened up the market a little, and Do you think there'll be other websites that'll start copying this model and that'll open the gate wide open?
If they do, they're not going to do it as well. No,
there you go.
They're not, and we're first and we're best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. So, what other stuff do you want to do? Like, you know, you're young. You're making these entrepreneurial waves in the music world. What other kind of ideas do you have?
Well, the music industry is the wild, wild west right now.
It is.
And I'm excited by that. I'm really not intimidated. I think taking steps forward, like presenting people an option where they can easily get music on score.com for their projects on the internet, which people are getting more and more comfortable with. Even, you know, the seasoned, I don't want to say geezers, but people that are still lingering around in the entertainment industry that hold a lot of power, they're starting to come around and really they're excited by score.com. And that makes me really optimistic about the future.
That's great. And you're an easy person to get along with. I'm sure we'll be like, let's give this Jordan guy a...
Hope so.
Yeah, well, now, the other thing I should mention is you actually run the website. You're in charge of it all. You're very hands-on. You answer emails personally. So what does that mean day to day? Like, what do you do day to day with the website?
Day to day, I oversee every single project that's up there.
So you're involved in every transaction
Absolutely.
that happens?
It's really important to me that everything is very fluid and that I'm in total control of score.com because it, like I said, it is my baby.
Yeah. You want to make it happen. Have you had any mishaps? Any crazy deals go down? Or
no, everything's been really smooth. You know, knock on glass.
Knocking on glass. I think there's wood somewhere. There's wood here.
Okay, good.
I'll tap on it for you. There you go.
Thanks.
Well, that's really cool. So now, name some of the big networks and companies that use your site. You know, like you mentioned some big networks and studios before.
Well, I have a lot of expressed interest from big people that I don't necessarily want to give away so that my competition comes along and steals them.
I understand.
But look out. I'll definitely send you some, you know, score.com connections when we have a nice reel of things that we've connected.
Absolutely.
And I'll definitely send it your way.
Now, you've had some Emmy and Grammy Award winners using your site as well, which is probably like a huge deal because it's like they're only going to bring more traffic to your site and spread the word throughout the industry as well.
Absolutely. No, it's a win-win. Whether you're a seasoned composer or an up-and-coming composer, this is a great resource for you. It doesn't really matter. It's just scoring opportunities.
Yeah. That's great. That's so exciting. It's just so great to meet you and just hear about this business idea. And, you know, I'm not a film composer, but I just think it's such a great idea and it's new. And like you said, the music industry is the wild, wild west. Why not try something new? Now, score.com, that's obviously the website. You guys have a Twitter as well, I believe? Yeah,
I do. It's score. So I guess it's twitter.com/score.
Oh, the Twitter handle.
And we're on Facebook too as a friend because no one really pays attention to becoming a fan of a group, I don't think.
Now, we do actually have a picture of Jordan, I believe. Let's put that picture up because it's a really nice picture. And you're wearing the score.com shirt. Do we have that? No, we don't have it. Okay. But it's a really nice picture, and you're wearing the score.com shirt.
Gotta represent, you know?
Yeah, represent. There we go. Oh, that's a great picture.
Oh, thanks.
Representing your company. So, at Score, that's it?
Yeah.
For Twitter?
At Score.
Okay, and if people want to contact you...
yeah, you can email me directly, jordan@score.com.
There you go. Any questions about the website?
Anything at all, I'm happy to answer. I answer every single email.
There you go. Well, actually, you did, because I contacted you and you answered straight away. But all the contact details are on the website as well, score.com. So it's been great chatting to you, but I don't want to let you go yet. So you're going to actually do some reviews with me. Do you want to do that?
No, it'd be my pleasure.
Since you're, have your hand in the music industry, it's nice to get some different people's opinions.
Sure.
So it's time for a bit of a music review and spotlight. And I've just realized that we should probably start getting a graphic for that as well. So... guys in the studio, hook it up. No, we'll talk about that later. All right, so I like to do reviews each week, and I like to do something visual, and the reason why I only did one website highlight today was because I want to do 4 video clips today. So the first one is, are you a fan of MIA?
I respect MIA.
You do?
I've seen her live, I think, a few times.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, she's pretty dope. So this video clip is MIA XXXO. Let's check out the clip first.
I don't let it show. But I think you know, cause you tweeting me like Tweety Bird on your iPhone. You want me XXXO, 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 XXXO.
Look, I have to say, that is the original Monsters Ball. You know, she did it before Lady Gaga. What do you think of the clip?
Not the most profound lyrics I've ever heard,
Right.
but Frolicking Unicorns, I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean, how can you say no to that? I just love the bad, glittery MySpace graphics, and at the very end of the clip, there's like a still shot of I'm calling her Maya, MIA, and it says, thanks for the ad. But that is off her album Maya, which is out now, MAYA. But her full name, I was reading this, which I thought was really hard to pronounce, but I'm going to try it. It's Mathangi Aral Pragasam. She's British Tamil, so I would also shorten my name to MIA. That's XXXO. Yeah, like you said, not very profound lyrics. All right, let's move on. Second review is by Yay Saya Matter Red. Let's check out the clip first.
It's getting hard to keep pretending I'm worth your time.
Okay, so this song, Matter Red, is off the Yay Saya album, Odd Blood. Now, this video clip has been making a lot of waves around the internet this week, obviously featuring great actress Kristen Bell. It's kind of like a short film. It's like 4 minutes. Kristen Bell has this blob as a pet, and she wakes up one morning and it's coughing blood and oozing pus and stuff, and she's at this commercial audition. She gets a call saying the blob is sick, so she takes him to the vet, and hilarity ensues. Well, it's not hilarity, it's like sad, but what did you think?
I think it's a touching story of a beautiful woman caring for a pet blob, and it's oozing, it needs her.
It does, and I don't know, it just works. Like, you really get drawn in, and I really feel sorry for this blob, and it's weird, but somehow it works. I liked it. So that's Yay Say Matter Red. Third video clip in the review segment is Slash Back to Cali featuring Miles Kennedy. Let's check out the clip.
You can hear me tonight. If you can hear me tonight, you'll have to carry me back from Cali. I'm tired and broken and I lost my way. You'll have to carry me back to where I belong. You'll have to carry me back from Cali. I don't want money, I don't need the fame. You'll have to carry me back to where I belong.
Okay, so this song is actually off Slash's self-titled album, which was released last April, and he only just released this video. And Miles Kennedy is an Alter Bridge vocalist, and he tours with Slash. Slash is also playing the Sunset Strip Festival coming up here in Hollywood, and he's playing with Fergie, weird pairing, and Slash is also being honored. But you're a Guns N' Roses fan?
Big Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah?
You know, anybody that can demand 2 guitar solos in almost every song, which is
Right.
the case for Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
He just has such a unique voice on guitar, and I really like that about him.
It's cool. It's like a great vibe. You know, living here in Cali, it's like definitely encompasses that Cali vibe. You got to carry me back to Cali, where I belong. I love those lyrics. But I'm like, Slash, get another outfit. You know, have another hairdo. Who knows?
I love the top hat.
You
though.
do?
Yeah.
Well, it's his signature thing. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotta keep it. Keep it, Slash. Don't listen to me. All right. So our last video clip is 30 Seconds to Mars, Closer to the Edge. Let's check it out.
Million to go down flames and taking you closer to the edge. No, I'm not saying I'm sorry. One day, maybe we'll make it. No, I'm not saying I'm sorry. One day, maybe we'll make it again. No.
I just wish there's no such thing as fighting, that the world could just be like perfect and everybody can get along. But obviously.
So that little girl at the end, she said, I just wish there was no such thing as fighting. It sounds like farting, but it wasn't. I had to watch that a couple of times to make sure that is what she said. Are you a 30 Seconds to Mars fan?
Can't say I am.
Really?
I don't really know them that much, but from that clip, didn't sway me towards
Really? You know, it's very catchy. I liked the shots of, you know, them being around the world and interacting with the crowd. You know, a lot of people in the chat room, well, Delta214, big ups to you for being in the chat room. It's like, wow, this is terrible, and I like 30 Seconds to Mars. So it'd be interesting to hear. Please tweet me and tell me why you didn't like the clip, because, you know, they're doing something a little bit different, but it's interesting to see what they do. And Jared Leto's always transforming his look, so there you go. Not a fan, sort of a fan, but, you know, each to their own. That's cool. So that's basically the show, but we do have a bit of music trivia, but, well, let's get on with the music trivia, and then I'll say thank you to you and point to your website again. So this week it is about Jimi Hendrix. Are you a Jimi Hendrix fan?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, who's not? You play guitar, you said?
I play piano but for fun by ear, so I'm nowhere near a Jimi Hendrix on the piano.
Who is? Okay, so Jimi Hendrix was born James Marshall Hendrix, and he's often considered to be the greatest electric guitarist in the history of rock music by other musicians and commentators in the industry. Now, as a record producer, Hendrix also broke new ground in using the recording studio as an extension of his musical ideas, which, you know, we see a lot of that nowadays. He was one of the first to experiment with stereophonic and phasing effects for rock recording. So what a legend he was. Now, Hendrix won many of the most prestigious rock music awards in his lifetime, and has been posthumously awarded after his death, awarded many more, including being inducted into the US Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992. He was also the first person inducted into the Native American Music Hall of Fame, which I don't know, do you have to be Native American to be in a Native American Music Hall of Fame?
It's the first time I'm hearing about this Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
when I read that, I thought, you know, I have to talk about that, because I didn't know he was, but there you go, first inductee into the Native American Music Hall of Fame. Now, at the moment, clothing mementos and handwritten lyrics belonging to Jimi Hendrix are going on display at his former London home to mark the 40th anniversary of his death, which is coming up soon, September the 18th. The guitarist actually lived in the late 1960s in an apartment in the Mayfair area of London. He died in the city on September 18th, 1970, but you might like this. Composer George Friedrich Handel lived next door in the 18th century, obviously not in the 70s, and Hendrix's former home is now part of the Handel House Museum. So there you go, a bit of rock history, classic music history. And this is a bit of like sad, kind of weird news, but his career and death grouped him with Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Brian Jones, Ron McKernan from the Grateful Dead, and Kurt Cobain as one of the 27 Club, a group including iconic 1960s rock stars who suffered drug-related deaths at the age of 27. So that's really weird, actually. I didn't know that until I read that. I'm like, it's almost spooky a little bit.
So young.
Yeah, it's young. It's sad. You know, I'm 27. Now, and they all died, a lot of them died within months of each other, you know, in the 70s. So they all left legacies in their death that have eclipsed the popularity and influence they experienced during their lifetimes. You know, Kurt Cobain, definitely. So there you go, and we're going to show a clip of his video clip, Bleeding Heart. Now, recently Sony released Experience Jimi Hendrix, a whole big DVD music package last year, I believe. So they packaged all his music together and, you know, made new footage and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And you can spot Kate Moss in this video clip, and it basically has a bunch of kids going into this field where they had Woodstock and, you know, basically tried to recreate the whole Woodstock feel, and they have these Jimi Hendrix like holograms and stuff in the sky. So we'll show that in just a second to end the show. But Jordan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. Please check out scorescore.com.
We definitely will.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah, please do that. Scoreascore.com. Go on Twitter as well, @scoreascore. Help Jordan as well. All the details are on the website. And keep in touch with us too, @TWIMUSC, or me, @ThisIsAsha. But that's basically the show, and enjoy some Jimi Hendrix. Peace out.
People hear me. They know what it means to be left alone. Oh, people hear me, people. Do you know what it means to be left alone? All on your own. Well, I ain't had no understanding's all I need.